Hi everyone, and welcome to the video of the Open Educational Resource with our topic of commemoration in place. So this OER contains authentic engagement between the two senior secondary subjects of both modern history and visual arts, with our focus within this OER on local war memorials of the Gold Coast region. And within this, we do have subject objectives and content descriptors, both from visual art and modern history subjects, with the information within this OER derived and aligned with the details provided by the Queensland Curriculum and Assessment Authority. For more information as well, outside of this video, all the information has been provided to you via a website with the link provided here for you to have a look at it at your own time, to use this as a visual way of learning, and also to provide your parents with some information on what we have been learning here within the classroom. So to start off with, I wanted to first have a look at commemoration. So this refers to the process where memories are constructed and repackaged for public consumption. It can come in many forms, including but not limited to religious gatherings, Anzac Day services, and Remembrance Day services. People often have a powerful need to commemorate and remember those who have died, and community members may have lost someone close to them, or may be thinking about a loss of life within disaster or also war. This is particularly applicable to those who have died during service of their country, as these reflections on the sacrifices made is a way of remembering and mourning those who have been lost. For more of an insight, we do have a video that shows the Battle of the Coral Sea commemorative event back in 2017. It can also be located on the website as well. And our first activity for this OER, we're going to work through the first activity, which looks at identifying and having a little bit more of a look at a commemorative ceremony that has not yet been acknowledged within this OER. Memorials and monuments. So having a look at the difference between the two of them, memorials are considered a broad term that can be comprised of any effort that commemorates any event or person. So this could include statues, community halls, streets, roads or bridges, among a number of other things as well. Monuments, they're considered a more narrow in description, and they describe built structures which commemorate a particular event or a person. So in the room now, can you identify any local memorials or monuments that are located within the Gold Coast region? So traditional war memorials and monuments, specifically those which commemorate wartime events, often use classical features and Christian symbolism. Their designs often include symbols that were important to the community at the time of their creation. Therefore, traditional examples of symbols used in war memorials and monuments can include the following. And having a look at what these symbols are looking to depict within their visual language has also been provided to you to look at your own time as well. Specifically looking at Australian war memorials and monuments, more contemporary memorials and monuments have moved away from including much of the symbolism evident in traditional memorials and monuments. There are a range of reasons for this, including the ethnic diversity of communities, a greater understanding of individual experiences of war, and the shifting notions of nationhood. During the first great wave of memorial building, back in the 1920s and 1930s, sculptors and designers used symbols that were familiar to most people of regions. Therefore, local war memorials may include any of the following symbols. This includes urns and broken columns, wreaths, crosses, the laurel, triumphal arches, winged victories, globes, columns, lions, water and obelisks, and rising suns for national birth. Our next activity will be examining local war memorials and/or monuments that are local to the Gold Coast region, as this is where we are located here. So your first goal is to identify a local war memorial or monument, and with the help of your parents, you need to visit this structure to take photos, gather evidence, justify some of the visual language used, and use the information that you're able to gather to be able to work through the 5 questions that are located in Activity 2. Narrowing our focus to look specifically at the Southport War Memorial, this memorial was originally erected on the 25th of April back in 1922, and its original placing was on Nerang Street, which is located right in the heart of Southport. It was created to commemorate the service and sacrifice of those who enlisted from Southport in World War I, and an honour roll containing the names of those who served in World War II was added at a later date. Atop this structure sits the figure of a soldier with an upturned rifle, which is considered the funeral position or reverse arms. And the memorial was designed by local artist A.L. Petrie back in around 1922 as well. Some key features of this war memorial: it does stand at 18 feet high and is built of Helidian freestone. It contains 4 marble tablets that are located on the east sides of the base and are inscribed with the names of men and also women who enlisted from Southport and the surrounding districts, with the front tablet reserved for those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Once again, atop the structure does sit the figure of a soldier with an upturned rifle, and originally the monument was flanked by 2 guns which were presented as war trophies to the Southport Council. However, these are now not present as the monument has been refurbished, moved and re-erected to the Southport Broadwater Parklands back in 2010. Here we have some photos that I was able to gather over our holidays, depicting the marble tablets with the inscriptions of the names of soldiers who served both during World War I and World War II, as well as the plaque that was unveiled back in 2010. We also have some more of the enlistment names with our honour rolls. And having specific look at the honour rolls, these are records, or the honour roll records, and commemorates members of the Australian Armed Forces who have died during or as a result of warlike service, or for post-1945 conflicts, warlike service, non-warlike services, and certain peacetime operations. As we are looking at a monument that is looking at the history of World War I and World War II, specifically looking at Australians who enlisted in the First and Second World Wars, to be eligible, an individual must have died during service as a member of the Australian Armed Forces, or as a result of that service, have been a member of a unit which was or could be sent overseas, or after the entry of Japan in the Second World War, a member of the Australian Armed Forces, and had died within the specified periods of World War I or World War II. Activity 3. Looking at Activity 3, we will be focusing specifically on the Southport War Memorial. So using our previous knowledge and understanding from both visual arts and also modern history, we'll be looking at identifying how artists have used symbols, artistic expressions, and other visual languages to represent and convey specific meaning within this monument. Working through the 4 questions, you will be able to explore and expand your knowledge on the local war heroes and what the monument means to the people of the Gold Coast. Now, narrowing our focus to explore the heroes of the Southport Roll of Honour. Within the previous slides, we have acknowledged and identified the Southport men and women who served both during World War I and World War II. Using their names as a resource, we can now use the National Archives of Australia and the Australian War Memorial Register to explore further records of these fallen war heroes inscribed on the Southport War Memorial. The Australian War Memorial allows you to view any memorial or honour board within Queensland and can be used as a tool to identify the full name of a specific Defence Force personnel inscribed on the War Memorial. The National Archives of Australia is an online data resource that collects and manages government records, including records of servicemen and women who served during World War I and World War II. So firstly, looking at the Australian War Memorial website. To gather some more information, our first step is to go to the Australian War Memorial website and then use the People tab to explore the records that are located here. Step 2. Submit the name of the person of interest that you want to know more about. For this example, I've used one of the names from the Southport War Memorial of Turpin S. and put that name within the search engine and click search. In this instance, there is 3 results, one in the Roll of Honour, one in the First World War embarkation rolls, and the First World War nominal roll. Specifically looking at the Roll of Honour details, we can then identify that the full name of the soldier is indeed Sidney Henry Turpin. And it also gives us some further details on his date and place of death, provides us with a photo of him during his service, the cemetery where he is buried, his rank, service number, unit, and the service he was a soldier of. Within the embarkment and nomination rolls, we get some further information including his infantry that he was involved with, the conflict, and also his embarkation date. Once we've gathered the relevant information that we need from the Australian War Memorial website, we can now move on to the National Archives of Australia. And our first step, once again, is go to the National Archives of Australia website, which is located here. Then, using the tab on the main menu, click the Explore the Collection, and then move to the second tab, Locate Defence and War Service Records. Our next step is to use the Record Search tab. Step 3, we then use the Name Search tab and enter the first and last name of our person of interest. For this example, again, we'll be using Sidney Henry Turpin, and we can use this name to hopefully find some further details on him. So this record in the archive gives us details, or can give us details, including the date range and the contents in the series, the series number that will provide the name of the government department that created those records, how to cite this record when writing about your finds, where the physical files are kept, the format of the files, whether they are physical or digital, and the number of files in the series. Within this search, we can then see that there is one digital copy. And clicking into this, we can find out that we can see a digital copy of the enlistment papers for Sidney Turpin. These can be accessed and explored, and provides us with further information on his life back in 1922. This includes his personal location details, his age, his occupation before enlisting, his marital and family details, and also the date of his enlistment. Our concluding activity for this OER consists of a case study. So throughout this OER, we have been exploring local war memorials and defence personnel of the Gold Coast region who served their country during World War I and World War II. Your task is to explore the history of the soldiers inscribed on the Southport War Memorial. Specifically, explore the lives of one person inscribed on this war memorial and contextualize your findings in one of the 4 following formats. That includes an 800-word essay, or an 8-minute oral presentation, an 8-minute multimodal presentation, or a PowerPoint presentation consisting of 20 to 25 slides. Within this case study, you do have 4 key questions that do need to be answered, which do explore some of the objectives of the visual arts subject, some objectives of the modern history subject, and also some questions that involve the integration of both subjects together. This includes identifying a person of interest, research and analysing data from the historical sources, including the National Archives of Australia and also the Australian War Memorial website. You can also use further databases to gather your research. We also want to have a look at some further information elaborating what the sacrifice meant to the people of Australia and the Gold Coast, and also looking to contextualise the visual language that has been used within the Southport War Memorial. For further information, we do have a reference list that has a look at all the data that has been used and gathered from relevant sources. If you do have any further questions, feel free to watch this video as many times as you need. We also do have that website that can be used at your own leisure to gather some further information or to also have a look at just a visual way of learning. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys back in the classroom.